Weather on the way. But first of all, let's set the scene for today. We've had high pressure across the south of the country, weather fronts across northern parts of the UK, and there's been a very big contrast in the temperatures. In fact, this morning it was -2 degrees across southern England and rural spots, 12 degrees, believe it or not, across more northwestern parts of the UK because of this weather front. How about this afternoon? How's the weather shaping up then? Well, for most of us, it's actually going to be quite cool, but at least it's going to be relatively bright. That is, across most of England and Wales, but not necessarily further north. First of all, let's start across the south of the country then. Bits and pieces of cloud floating around, yes, but sunshine poking through the clouds too. Temperatures of around 12 degrees or so. The good news is that at least the winds are light, so even if you're stuck underneath the cloud, you shouldn't feel desperately cool. Now, as far as northern England is concerned, the better of the weather will be towards the east. Cumbria probably getting a bit of rain. Damp weather across the lowlands of Scotland, but the weather front has gone through the north of Scotland at this stage, so some sunshine on the way for the Hebrides and Highlands. Unfortunately, you'll be stuck underneath that weather front across Northern Ireland, so damp conditions all through the day. The rain coming and going, and 13 in Belfast. 13 degrees in Belfast will feel much cooler than around 12 or 13 degrees in the sunny spells, for example, across Wales. Now, tonight, our weather front is stuck across this central section of the country. Either side, we're going to see some drier weather. So the very far north of Scotland, cold and dry. The far south of the UK, dry but not particularly cold, around 8 or 9 degrees. How about this week then? Well, I've already set the scene at the beginning. Very autumnal weather on the way. Spells of rain and some strong winds as well. We haven't seen strong winds for a while. The process begins first thing on Monday. A deep area of low pressure throws in weather fronts. We've still got a weather front at this stage across northern parts of the UK, so poor old central lowlands still getting some rain, as well as Northern Ireland. So here, very unpleasant conditions during the course of Monday. Come south of that, with a flow coming in from the south, drier and slightly milder weather affecting many parts of England, and also to an extent Wales as well. So 14 degrees on the cards for Monday, with a bit of sunshine, but not an awful lot. And then as we get into Tuesday, well, the low pressure is anchored just to the west of Ireland, but it is throwing weather fronts across the UK. Lots of isobars, so lots of wind to talk about. And here is that band of wind and rain sweeping western Britain. In fact, across some of the hills, there could be quite a bit of rain. The last place to see the rain on Tuesday will be eastern Britain. Here, the rain may not reach you until the evening hours. Around 13 degrees, but feeling cold in the rain and the wind. Now, Wednesday, the low pressure is still very much in charge of the weather across the UK, but by this stage, our weather front has moved from western Britain towards the east of the UK. So here it is. This time, it looks as though East Anglia, the eastern counties, and especially eastern and northeastern Scotland will get the heavy rain and the gale force winds as well. At the same time, it brightens up across Northern Ireland and many western parts of the UK. Here, temperatures of around 15 degrees, but breezy conditions too, and some squally showers quite possibly on the cards. And then beyond that, Thursday, the forecast is certainly somewhat uncertain. It does look as though the northeast of the UK will continue to have the wet weather. For a lot of us, it'll dry out. And there's an indication that as we head towards Friday, things will slowly settle down and perhaps be drier than what we're going to see through the middle part of the week. But by no means is that certain. Whatever the weather